So, we're in this video game limbo, and we need to build out that new video game, Voyager, in order to escape. You mentioned anti-gravity, but what is that?
Antigravity is an AI-powered development environment where agents act as your autonomous workers. With antigravity, you aren't just vibe coding with AI, you can manage a whole team of intelligent agents.
So, you can give these agents different tasks, send them on their way, and they'll do it?
That's right.
All right, well, let's get cracking.
Let's do it. First, I'll download antigravity by going to antigravity.google. I'm using an Apple Silicon machine, so I'll select that option and install it in my applications folder.
All right, it's gonna ask you some configuration questions. Walk me through these settings.
Sure thing, and we'll have self-guided course content that explores these steps in detail. First, we chose the theme, and I'm choosing dark mode. The next options will help our agents work with Google developer products by adding the Firebase plugin.
We're adding Firebase because we know we'll be working with it and this will streamline the development and deployment later on?
Exactly.
Got it. So we're up and running.
Yes, and the first thing I'll do is create a new folder for our workspace, AGY-sandbox.
Just like most AI chat interfaces, you can add media to your prompt and choose the model.
Yeah, and I'll choose Gemini Flash Medium for this.
Okay, so our first goal here is to create a Hello Worlds app that shows all the planets in the solar system to test out antigravity's capabilities.
Yep, I'll say, hey Gemini, please make me a Hello Worlds app that lets me visit different planets in the solar system by clicking a button. Keep it relatively simple. I should be able to use the app by opening your index.html in my browser. Speaking of which, preview your work in the / browser.
That easy, huh?
It is. It came up with an implementation plan for me to review. It all seems good, so I'll tell it to proceed.
And because of the settings we configured when installing, the agent will ask you before it makes changes.
Exactly. And we can change those settings after installation.
It looks like there's a sub-agent blocked.
Yeah, and this is important because we want antigravity to be able to open a browser window to test what it's building, so we need to allow remote debugging.
Okay, so we allow it, and wow, it's already built our page.
Yeah, and it's pretty good. It looks like it has all the planets with descriptions of each and a little animation as you click between them.
Sorry, Pluto, you're still not a planet.
It had a good run.
So we're good, right? We can now build that video game and get out of here?
Well, we need to set up Firebase first to give us the infrastructure we need. We'll do that next, but don't worry, we will be cruising at light speed in no time.